He's another steal in the middle of the draft, but he's going to have the same kind of effect as Brogdon did last year, who won the Rookie of the Year.
Right.
So where he's going to be like on a playoff team, helping a team win, maybe not scoring that much, but playing defense. He's probably going to average, I would say, probably 10 points per game, 11 points per game.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, most of the rookies are averaging 15 at least.
I think, so just for that alone, I'm going to go with Dennis Smith because I think he's just going to, again, with the wow factor too. He's going to wow people with like some of the things he does, and he's going to win over. He's going to win over a lot of people.
No, I get that pick.
All right, so who you got? Defensive Player of the Year. Who you got? I think I went with another safe one. This one.
I did too. They're all pretty obvious. I feel like for Defensive Player of the Year. I just went Rudy Gobert again.
I agree. I agreed with you on that one.
Top defensive player on top defensive team.
Yeah, I think the Utah Jazz will be the best defensive team in the league. We've brought the Jazz up a lot already this podcast.
This is ridiculous, yeah.
But I guess we're both really, really high on the Jazz. And Gobert,
I'm playing their defense. They're not going to score at all, but
yeah, they probably will have some problems scoring. But Gobert's going to be, the anchor on the best team, the best defensive team in the league. Outside of Draymond doing something amazing.
Yeah, Kawhi's going to be considered again. Anthony Davis will be considered, I think. The Defensive Player of the Year is basically those four and DeAndre Jordan, and nobody else really considers anyone else. No. So I bet, Gobert came in second last year to Draymond Green, and I think he just takes that step up this year and takes it from him. We go back to a big man once again for the Defensive Player of the Year. Yep. Someone over 6'7".
Yeah. All right. So now we got some more fun ones. We got the really fun ones this time. Biggest flop, best temper tantrum of the year, and then our top three coaches on the hot seat. Where do you want to start with this one?
We'll go with the biggest flop.
Biggest flop?
Just so I can get my bias out. LeBron James is going to flop. And he's going to get something's going to happen where him and Dwayne Wade are feeding off each other, and LeBron's going to get touched by a 6-foot guard and fly back 15.
I think that's pretty safe to say, but I think LeBron is going to actually have a really, really chill year this year. That's why I didn't pick him for the biggest temper tantrum as well, because if this was last year, we had to carry the team a bunch. I would say temper tantrum, all that stuff. He's going to do it. But this year, I think he's only going to play 60 games. He's not going to care. He's got so many other pieces around him. He's just going to be like, whatever.
I just think him and Dwayne Wade feed off each other.
They do. So I'm going biggest flop because he's a notorious flopper, and he just doesn't play defense at all. So James Harden, he's going to try to be taking a charge one time, and he's just not going to get touched at all. Fly back 5 feet, maybe do a little stumble. We already had one of those in the preseason, not with James Harden, but someone stumbled back 5 feet. I think it was Joakim Noah, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think
it was some big man.
Are you talking about when Westbrook shoved Jokic?
No. Okay. Someone he just took. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He took 30 steps back and then fell. It was a great acting job. But yeah, I'm going James Harden, the biggest flop. You're going LeBron James. Again, these are hard to pick because you never know what unknown guy is gonna fall over.
I don't know. Every time I think of flop, all I can think of is LeBron James acting like he got shot by Nate Robinson when Nate Robinson touched him. And
yeah, but that's just your Chicago Bulls coming out.
I don't care. It's stupid. You're 6'8". Grow up, LeBron. Jeez.
He's just trying to win, man. He's just trying to win. All right. Moving on from that, let's go with. I think temper tantrum is going to be a little bit more fun, so let's go with coaches.
Okay.
So coaches on the hot seat this year. So we've got 3 apiece.
Yeah.
We probably have some overlap, but I'll go with my 3 first. So I've got Kenny Atkinson for Brooklyn Nets, which is fairly obvious. Brooklyn Nets have been bad for a long time.
They're also going to need somebody much better. I think.
I got Frank Vogel with the Magic, which is another one's okay, they're trying to make this next step. It's not going to happen for the Magic, unfortunately.
It's painfully obvious the Magic are not going to do much this year.
Unless Aaron Gordon takes the biggest leap ever, we're not going to see the Magic anywhere near the playoffs. And then my last one's actually kind of a shocker to some people, probably, but to some people they'd feel he probably not that great of a coach because he's been fired on a playoff team before. I'm going to go with Scott Brooks.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
I just don't think he's a good coach.
I don't think he's that good of a coach either, but I think everybody else thinks he's a good coach.
But no. So the problem with Washington is they don't have a bench, and that's not Scott Brooks' problem. It's the GM's problem that they don't have a bench.
Right.
But if Scott Brooks runs either John Wall or Bradley Beal into an injury...
Yes. Okay, I can see it. I just don't think he's... to be fair, I didn't think he was on the hot seat in Oklahoma City.
And he just got fired.
He got fired randomly. But
maybe players just don't like him. Because I think that's what it was,
Kevin Durant came out and was like, or when he was trolling that fan on Twitter, they fired Scott Brooks and added Billy Donovan or something. Kevin Durant just being a baby. But
are you sure Billy Donovan's a good coach either?
No, he's not a good coach. I don't even understand why he got hired in Oklahoma City. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But anyways, I don't think Scott Brooks is getting fired. I could be wrong. Like I said, I didn't think he got fired in Oklahoma City.
He's maybe not on the hot seat right now, but I think surprise firing at the end of the year, it might be Scott Brooks' name is going to it may be in there. So
okay, I actually have 3 completely different coaches here.
Oh, really? No overlap. No. Crazy.
Number 3, I've got. I'm going to get to number 1 because I'm very passionate about number 1.
Okay, I know who it is.
Number 3, I actually think is Doc Rivers.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
I don't know. Doc is a terrible GM. I think we can all agree with that for the most part.
Yeah, but does the owner pull the trigger on firing Doc?
I don't know if Steve Ballmer is gonna do that. I really don't. But at the same time,
because Doc should be out of there by now.
He's overstayed his welcome. Yeah. There just comes that point. Number 2, I think, is Dwayne Casey. If they don't win at least one playoff round, he's gone.
Really?
He's gone, I think. But I also don't think they're going to do very well in the regular season.
We got 2 playoff teams on here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, you don't think the Clippers are going to make the playoffs, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, well, if they don't make them a playoff team.
If they don't make the playoffs, though, I will 100% agree with you that Doc gets fired.
Yes.
If they make the playoffs again, I don't see Steve Ballmer outside of Blake Griffin going to Steve Ballmer and saying you need to fire this guy.
Right.
Because I think he'll listen to whatever Blake Griffin tells him to do.
Blake's has all that money now, so Blake basically runs the franchise. Number 1, Fred Footwipe.
Fred Footwipe? Is that his Chicago nickname?
That's his Chicago nickname. He is just the worst.
I think we both agree on Fred. He's not on my hot seat because I know the Chicago Bulls aren't going to fire him.
Dude, we're not going to fire him for some reason. He deserves to be fired. He's the worst coach in the NBA, as far as I'm concerned. As a Bulls fan, why in the world did we get rid of Tom Thibodeau for Fred Footwipe? I don't understand.
I love that name, Fred Footwipe.
Yeah, that's what we're referring to him as the rest of the season.
It's great.
Unless some miracle he can get all these young guys to develop well, which we all know is not going to happen.
Now, he's got a free pass now, though, because they all agreed, like management, everything, agreed that they're rebuilding. So even if he loses a bunch of games, it's not on him.
They have to develop correctly. Like Denzel Valentine.
But what's developed? Like that's like Bobby 3 years down the road.
Well, they have to at least take a step forward.
I think they will because they've got no one else on the team.
They're not going to be playing a lot. They have to shoot threes. Like Fred Hoiberg was like, this pace and space offense garbage is going to work in the NBA. It has been. That's
what every other team basically runs. Is
right, but Fred's like, I'm coming in and bringing it, and I'm going to change the NBA. And I mean,
the NBA's already been changed.
I know he's.
It's just the Bulls were kind of like still stuck in the '90s with defense,
absolutely,
defense and mid range. So, all right. Here we go. So the rule for this one is you have to also explain the situation that they're in.
Yes.
Why are they going into the biggest temper tantrum of the year? Trevor?
You want me to go?
Yeah, take it away, man.
All right. Biggest temper tantrum is going to come in a press conference after a game, and it's going to be from Paul George getting upset because Westbrook doesn't play well with others.
That's a good one.
Russell Westbrook.
I don't know if it's going to be Paul George, though. Paul George is just outside the CJ Miles thing.
Right.
Paul George has always been so like even keel on that kind of thing.
I think all Paul George, all he's focused about is getting to LA.
So he's going to start as much controversy as possible.
He's not going to do anything that he does not want to in Oklahoma City.
That's a good one though. Like going with like the teammates feuding against each other.
That's what I'm going with.
I went a completely different opposite way.
Westbrook is gonna tick off Paul George to the point where he calls him out in a press conference.
That'd be great. That'd validate us so much.
I would love that. I was so happy.
Me and Trevor are both not the biggest Russell Westbrook fans. He's a great player, and no one can take that away from him. but he's also incredibly selfish in the whole.
He's a terrible teammate. I'm sorry. I don't care.
There's a reason.
Garbage.
There's a reason why Kevin Durant did not want to stay with him.
And Kevin Durant, obviously, he was obviously. And Kevin Durant puts up with a lot.
Yeah.
Paul George is not going to.
Kevin Durant was done with that.
Yeah.
Done with that. That's a good one. Okay, so you've got press conference post game hitting the desk.
Yeah. Paul George is like, I didn't get the ball more.
Is there yelling or is there passive aggressive?
I think Paul George is passive aggressive. I really think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to make some sort of comment about Russell Westbrook.
He's going to make a comment, and then some media guy's going to blow it out of proportion.
He's going to make some comment about what Russell Westbrook wearing that day. He's like, man, that guy's an idiot. So I'm going with, I feel like it's a safe pick for biggest temper tantrum. And his team's going to be struggling. It's going to be like, his old team's going to be better and higher in the standings than them. He's going to be sitting, he's going to be upset, and then some referee's going to call him on some technical, and he's just going to go off and start calling the referee names. And I think everyone probably knows where I'm going with this because he has a history of this before. And I think Boogie Cousins is going to throw the biggest temper tantrum of the year.
Yeah, that's
and get ejected and maybe suspended for a few games for what he says to the ref.
In that situation, he's probably going to be playing against the Kings and getting blown out.
Exactly. That's the situation. So the Kings are higher in the standings. They've come out of the gate really, really slow, him and Anthony Davis. Individually, they're both great, but he doesn't have the best teammates around him, so he's just upset. He's not going to attack his teammates directly because that's just not his style. Right. He's going to go after that ref. He's the enemy right now.
The ref is the reason Sacramento is better than us.
Exactly. And then the ref's going to call him on some sort of foul or some sort of technical when he waves his arms up in the air. And then Boogie's just going to go in calling him names. He's going to get suspended for 2 or 3 games, have to apologize.
Oh, he's going to have a real falling out with the refs at some point this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of inevitable for him. I love Boogie Cousins. Like, I wish he would just grow up, but it's just like sometimes, you have those players that just
don't ever learn.
Yeah. But surprise me, Boogie. New Orleans is a new place for you. Just surprise me. Please. All right. The big one.
Yep.
So I think the MVP race this year is going to be interesting just because I think LeBron's out of it completely. I think...
Wow.
Well, no, not because he's not a good player, but because he's only going to play 60 games this year.
Okay.
So, if you're not playing 22 games, I don't think you should be in the race. And we've got a lot of stars in new places, a lot of stars playing with new players, and I went with the one of the top teams that stayed almost exactly the same, and I'm going with Kevin Durant for MVP.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't win it last year because Russell Westbrook had played out of his mind.
Yeah.
If Russell Westbrook, even if he's as selfish, he's still going to be cut down a little bit. And you can't say that Russell Westbrook, especially if it's a detriment to his team at this point, if he's like taking away shots from Carmelo Anthony and Paul George and say, he's MVP. But Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry worked so well together last year, especially in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry went to another level. And I don't think they're going to give Steph Curry a third MVP. I think they'd rather give it to Kevin Durant for a second.
Okay, I can see that. But I'm actually 100% opposite of you on LeBron. I think LeBron wins MVP. And I think he wins out of...
He only played 60 games.
I think he wins out of sympathy.
Sympathy?
Just hear me out here. Now, I think that LeBron James, having lost 5 NBA Finals...
Yeah.
He's about to lose his 6th, which we all know is going to happen.
Well, I think the finals last year was a lot closer than everyone gives it credit for. And I think the Cavaliers are better suited to go up against the Warriors this year.
I still don't think they're going to win. I do not think they're going to win.
I think the Cavaliers are right. I mean, they're right. They still have the best player. They still have the best player, LeBron.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think he wins out of sympathy because the voters are like, oh, he's losing another finals. He's going to lose another finals. We have to give him something. Maybe there's like a backdoor deal with the NBA to get LeBron an MVP, and hopefully he stays in Cleveland.
I don't think LeBron cares about that anymore. I mean, obviously he does because he makes all these comments about stuff but I just so I don't see how you argue because I'm hard on this. He's only going to play 60 games this season.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to play closer to 70, but
I'll go 65, but still, I don't think you give it to him because he's going to be taking a lot of It's still LeBron. He's still going to average his insane numbers, but a lot of pressure is going to be taken off of him because people aren't talking about, they lost Kyrie Irving, but they added a lot of good, solid pieces. Their role players in depth are much better than they were last year.
I agree. I kind of think with Isaiah Thomas not being there for
if Isaiah Thomas
for the first few, I mean, he's obviously not going to be there for the first few months. I think LeBron's going to come out of the gate just on fire.